In this episode of American Greed, Keisha Williams owns a product that could revolutionize healthcare and fuel a billion-dollar industry.
She was a big dreamer, and she was very confident that she would be successful.
This charismatic con has investors certain they'll be raking in the profits.
She would tell people, I'm a millionaire, I'm a multimillionaire, and people believed her.
She flaunts her influence by living like a pampered temptress.
Vacationing in Bora Bora, or Jamaica, or Tahiti.
She would rent the largest villas on the island. She brought a personal chef with her, and she traveled in style.
Keisha has a reputation for making it rain and finding men who'll feed her craving for power.
She promised them things that she knew they wanted.
Keisha Williams' main purpose in life was to make people subservient to her.
It was a fantastic scheme. I didn't realize what it was until now.
That money, that over $5 million, is gone.
It was a level of greed that I've rarely seen.
It's a warm October evening, and there are fat tips looming on the horizon for the staff at an upscale steakhouse in Northern Virginia. That's because Keisha Williams just rolled up in her sleek new Mercedes.
You go to a lot of these places around here, believe me, everyone knows Keisha Williams.
She was always staying at the Ritz-Carlton, and she was always at the Four Seasons. And not only would she stay at these hotels, she would stay in the presidential suite.
Keisha Williams demands only the best. Her liquor is exclusively top shelf. Her cigars, hand-rolled in Cuba.
When Keisha walked in, she wouldn't even have to say, I want. They already knew. They knew the exact type of ice, the exact type of drink.
Tonight, she's meeting Harry Singh, a Wall Street investor who's interested in Keisha's newest enterprise, a healthcare-based software system. Keisha tells him that she's already put $30 million into the software called Zytocron, and other big investors are beating down the door.
She told me that the Prime Minister of Dubai was thinking about implementing the platform in all of Dubai.
The Prime Minister of Dubai, he wants to implement our entire platform.
One big problem with that, there's no such thing as a Prime Minister of Dubai.
Uh-oh. Keisha's story isn't adding up. And her dinner companion is an undercover FBI agent. And he's getting it all on tape.
Even though I'm a numbers guy, there's some qualitative aspect in a relationship, so.
Exactly.
Prior to the FBI, I worked on Wall Street as an investment banker. I could talk the talk and walk the walk.
What's the dollar amount? How much capital are you requesting there?
$12 million on the celerity.
When I met Keisha, I could easily tell this is someone who was trying to portray an image of someone who she may not be.
In fact, authorities suspect she's using her powers of persuasion to drain investors of their money. Assistant U.S. Attorney Grace Hill investigates white-collar crimes in the Eastern District of Virginia, where Keisha Williams resides.
Keisha Williams' MO was to start with a kernel of truth, then build up a layer of lies around that.
It's a question of running down many different rabbit holes and finding out if something actually did occur that was a crime.
Arthur Robinson first met Keisha Williams years before at a gym in Ashburn, Virginia. Once Art and Keisha realized they're both from the South, their friendship took off.
She was very independent, and to me, that's Southern roots. I mean, when you take care of home, take care of family, take care of business. That's what oozes out of her pores, as far as I'm concerned.
The former Pentagon police officer had been among the first responders in the aftermath of 9/11.
Everything was law enforcement to me, and helping. That was my life. And in my heart, it still is my life.
But by 2005, his life is in a downward spiral.
I started gambling, and I ended up losing my condo, and I got really financially screwed. I was really depressed about it.
In Arthur's mind, he's fallen from grace, but Keisha promises to help him rebuild his life.
I wanted to start a nonprofit in my mother's name, for kids that were victims of domestic violence. And she kept saying, oh, bro, you got all these skills. You don't need to waste that. So she really got into my world. And I've always been very careful about who I allowed in my world.
People who know Keisha say it is her uncanny ability to form a mutual bond that makes her seem so trustworthy. In the fall of 2013, Northern California businessman Christian DeAndrade is looking to take his 20-year-old IT company to the next level.
It was growing, very vibrant. We were doing extremely well. I was looking for a person to help me do some business development in Washington, D.C.
He hopes expanding his business into Northern Virginia will give him a slice of the billions of federal dollars doled out to tech companies like his each year. On a business trip to D.C., a colleague puts him in contact with 36-year-old Keisha Williams. Keisha tells him that her consulting business, Keisha Williams & Associates, specializes in information technology, and her resume includes work with big government contractors like Lockheed Martin.
She told Chris that she was very well educated, that she had a JD, that she had a master's degree, and that she was fluent in several languages.
It's not just the credentials that sealed the deal for Chris DeAndrade. It's Keisha.
She's very charismatic, and she's very warm. She's very down to earth, She like a little magnet. We agreed that normally small black companies can't seem to work together. And we decided we were going to work together. We're going to make this an example, two black organizations working together as a team.
Chris says he agrees to pay Keisha a $200,000 consulting fee to land the plum federal contracts he's looking for.
I look at her as an investment that I was willing to make to grow the business.
3 months later, a different opportunity comes knocking when Chris gets a tip from a friend who's a CEO at a California hospital. He tells him about an Austrian tech company that's going bankrupt and is looking to sell its telehealth software patent to a U.S. buyer.
The software, Zytocron, would enable patients to be examined remotely by doctors and to communicate with their doctors remotely.
Telehealth is a buzzing topic. Many see it as the next huge trend in the trillion-dollar U.S. healthcare industry.
The same exact software that the VA is using right now, that's the exact software, but at that time, no one had it available to them.
To Chris, the Zytocron software technology smells like big money.
I thought this could be a billion-dollar product.
He sends an email to float the idea by his new business consultant, Keisha Williams.
And she called me back and said, it's awesome. What can we do to get this thing? We really need to have it.
In October of 2014, entrepreneur Chris DeAndrade and his new business consultant Keisha Williams are hoping to turn a revolutionary new software program called Zytocron into a billion-dollar business.
It was a medical software that enabled patients to speak with doctors over the internet and also to transmit medical data.
A few weeks later, Keisha comes back from a trip to Austria and says she's purchased the Zytocron software through a bankruptcy auction.
So that's when I said, well, okay, let's figure out how much money I owe.
She told Chris that she had paid over $3 million for the software and that they would have to raise $1.7 million together in order to pay the taxes and interest that had accrued on the software purchase.
Keisha Williams declined to speak with American Greed, but Robert Jenkins Jr. is Keisha's former defense attorney. He says it's all a win-win for Chris DeAndrade.
Chris was expecting to get a 50% ownership stake in the new company. So he certainly was motivated by what he believed was going to be a very, very profitable company.
Automatically, I knew I owe half. So I started looking for money. So I took my retirement money, Maybe not a smart move at that point, but I did. So I came up with like $600,000.
Stacy Keach here, feeling greedy for more videos like this one? Then be sure to like and subscribe right here on CNBC Prime.